Hello everyone, welcome. In this video, let's discuss white's double hane after number 8. In the previous video, we learned what happens after white plays here number 10. So if you haven't watched that, please do, because it's very important to understand what happens after number 10. Right here, this extension, white, it doesn't work anymore. And now let's look at this double hane, which is still a viable joseki in the age of AI. So both human players and AI discovered this and thought it was even, right? So it's one of those rather rare instances where AI confirmed human understanding of this joseki. So now black has two choices. One choice is to break out by playing the Atari number 11 and capturing number 10. Meanwhile, black has this cutting point, which is Atari by white. Black captures, and white takes the corner. So this is the basic joseki that everyone should remember, including beginners. It's a little complicated for beginners, but you would definitely need this joseki in games. So it's very important for you to take a few minutes to try to remember the sequence here. This result is actually pretty even. For beginners and many cube players, white seems to have an advantage here because white takes the territory. It's at least 10 points. Very solid. While black seems to only have 2 points here with this ponuki, right? This capturing of one stone. But black's shape is actually very good. Black is mostly alive, not really afraid of any attacks, and black's shape is more resilient than you think. So what's important to understand is some of the follow-ups after this pattern. So what does this pattern mean? White does take the corner, but black has this follow-up move. It's a very big move, and white must cover from the 2-2 point. If white covers here, then black will be able to capture these two white stones, and this is not acceptable for white. So white must cover from this side. And what happens now is that black can play on the left side by playing right here on the second line, threatening to connect with these three stones. If white ignores it, then black can connect. White cannot play the wedge, and black will be able to win this race to capture against these three stones on the corner. So this is not okay for white. So white must finish off these three black stones, either by playing here, which is good for the corner territory. You can block here at number 22, or you can play this diagonal move, putting more pressure on number 19 by taking away a liberty. But it's worse for the corner here, right? You cannot really block here because this will be a ko. So the best white can do is right here. So you lose a little bit on the corner in the end game, but it's better for putting pressure on number 19. So number 19 is good at placing a stone on the left side and potentially reducing white, depending on what's happening on the left side. If white has influence, getting a stone here on the second line feels like a free move for black. So it's something that black can make use of. Another thing black can do is to play right here. This is really important because you might think this is just the same. Actually, it's not. You have to play right here. Now, the best white can do is hane, and black can play this hane. The good thing in this situation for black is that white does not have this double hane at number 20. White must extend. And this way, all of a sudden, black has built a wall here toward the upper side. So it's actually very easy for black to build on the upper side after the joseki. White can't play the double hane because there's a weakness in white's shape. Black only needs to play this Atari, and now number 23 comes out. If white still covers from this side, now all of a sudden, black is threatening to capture these 4 white stones. So the best white can do in this situation is to simply extend. And now, black already wins this race to capture against these 3 white stones on the corner. So this is not acceptable for white. In fact, 90% of the time, if you're white in this situation, you have to save the corner. You cannot afford to lose the corner. That's at least a 15-point turnaround. That's simply too big, right? So this is the best white can do. But of course, white has some nice influence here on the left side as well. If white ignores black, then black can stand down here and play this hane. It's really harsh, right? This is also threatening to come out. And the best white can do is something like this, but black will still have all kinds of moves. So maybe it's better for white to just finish off these 3 stones. But 17 and 21 clearly favors black, and black can keep building this way, right? So this really greatly reduces white's influence on the left side. Whereas if you play here, number 17, it's not really forcing. It's hard to follow up this move because you're not occupying white's liberty here. It's hard to follow up number 17 with a forceful move against white. So that's why the follow-up move is number 17, really big move. But when the board is empty like this, a corner closer or an approach is still more valuable than this move. Do remember, this is very important follow-up move, but not necessary. What about white? If you're white in this situation, you can follow up with this move. This knight's move, very big, very solid. Black cannot push through, right? This cut doesn't work because white can just capture this stone on the ladder. And this will not affect the capture race here. So that's why number 21 here will not work. So if black keeps ignoring number 18, then white can really push black down to the second line this way. So this is a forceful move for white to follow up with 18 and 20. But of course, black will get to play two moves elsewhere on the board. If black wants to respond, then black can play something here on the third line or on the fourth line. If you really want to be the upper side, something like that. Black should be okay too. So that's how both sides can follow up with this joseki. Really, really important joseki to learn, and you definitely need to remember it. One more thing on black's other option. The other option is to stay within the corner, but this is not okay. Black will be enclosed this way. As we've learned, 14 and 16 is a very good addition to white's wall. Black doesn't have the cut because white can net here and black is dead. There's just no way black can break out. If black doesn't play here, then black is dead. This way, black doesn't have enough ice space. Black plays here, then white can come in this way. Still, this is going to be a dead shape. Even if black plays here, eventually, right, just for illustration, this is going to be a pyramid 4 shape, a dead shape. So black will be dead this way. And that is why black must play this hane and connect and give white a very good wall. So white is already at about 80% probability of winning, and that is 30-point swing. So this is not okay for black. Similarly, if black plays here, then white only needs to hane here. Remember, you have to hane. You cannot play this. To capture here, black can cut Atari and capture these two stones on the ladder. So this is not okay. Right? This is not going to be good for white. So white's number 12 has to be here. Now if black connects here, then white connects on the outside. Again, white cannot try to kill black. Right? This is that shape. But the thing is, black can make use of number 9 by getting this Atari and Atari again. Now white cannot escape. Number 20 doesn't work because after 21, Atari, number 23 will kill these two white stones. So white will not be able to contain black on the corner. So that's why number 14 has to be on the outside. And this is a challenge for beginners and some Q players who don't know about this pattern. What's the correct move for black to play to save number 9? The correct move is to connect here. This is the best way. If white reduces black's ice space from this side, black plays at the 2-1 point in number 17. White hanes from this side, then black plays at a 2-2 point to ensure that it's alive. What's bad about this tiger's mouth? Not the correct move. It's still alive now, but white gets to play this standing down on the first line. And potentially, it has implications for endgame on the upper side. If black ignores it, then how does white kill this black group? Throw in here first, and then the 2-1 point. If you're not familiar with this, try working it out on your own. It's a very classic and pretty basic life and death pattern. So the bottom line here is that black cannot really afford, especially at the beginning of a game when the board is empty, to be enclosed like this. So after number 15, white can take sente in this situation, or if you're concerned about these two potential cutting points, you can play a tiger's mouth either way. And this will greatly favor white. And that is why black's only choice is to capture number 10. And some old joseki books will tell you that this is also viable for white, and it's wrong. Because now, black can capture this stone. Right? Black cannot connect here, otherwise this would be terrible for black, having this number 14 and 15 exchange. Right? So black will just capture, and now the idea is for white to trigger this ko. But this ko is actually not that big for black. So it's not really viable anymore for white, even though you might see this in old joseki books. So the only joseki from this lesson is this double hane. White gives up number 10 and captures the corner. Black does not have to necessarily follow up with this move. It's a big co-threat. You might not want to waste it right away, right? You might want to save it for later. But these are forceful follow-ups for black to play. And white's follow-up, once again, is this move, this knight's move. So that's the basics about this joseki. It's a super common joseki that you must remember. And as you use more of this joseki, you have a preference for either white or black in this situation. So beginners and Q players tend to favor white and tend to underestimate the potential of this black shape. Personally, I would say this is really pretty even for both sides. And as you play more, practice more, you will develop your own preference as well. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. Good luck, and thank you for watching.